So the last few days we spent on the bus, first from Bogota to Cali. That was 10 hours as expected. Then the next day was actually Sean's birthday, so happy birthday, Sean. Unfortunately, I thought it was 6.5 hours, but that turned out to be more like 10 to 12 hours. So we had planned to go to the sanctuary Lajas sanctuary. Try and say that a few times in a row. But then we had to do that yesterday morning, just before we crossed the border. So then yesterday's journey from the border to Quito, that was at like, we started about 20 to 2 and got here at 7:30. Yeah, so a while anyway. But fun times. Now we're in Ecuador. Great. So, woohoo!
So we're here in Quito in Ecuador, and as you can see, we're about 5,000 miles away from London where we started. It's been quite a long way, we've done in the last month. And then Sydney in the opposite direction, which is where we're going. It says in kilometres there, we're actually about 3,000 miles closer to London than we are to Sydney, so we've got a long way to go.
Here we are in the Mitad del Mundo, which is the Ecuadorian for equator. Reason being, the Spanish for equator is Ecuador. So it'd be a bit confusing to be in Ecuador saying about going to the equator. So you would go, oh, where are you going? Ecuador. Oh, we're in Ecuador. No, Ecuador. The Ecuador. Confusing. So, Mitad del Mundo. The reason that Ecuador is called Ecuador is because with the first geodesic expedition, which came from France with the permission of the Spanish king, they did all the measurements for latitude from here. So that is why it's called Ecuador, because this is where they measured everything for the equator from. So, Mitad del Mundo.
So today we're here at the National Basilica in Ecuador, which is in Quito, and we're going to go and have a look inside.
And now we're walking through the roof of the church. So you can see the arches below us and a roof above us. And here we are at the top of the church. I mean, the really top. Like, we had to come up some crazy ladders to get here. Not in the UK. Never in the UK. No way. Not without ropes. But it's a pretty good view.
Careful.
So this morning we made a rather alarming discovery, actually, and that is that at some point between Quito and Papallacta, a hole has been made in my bag. Okay, and I just said that was a knife. It's a pretty big hole, and the reason I think it's a knife is because I punctured my own bag the other day with a pencil, and you can see maybe that the edge is all fluffy. Also, in the summer, I made a hole with some DEET, and that is also kind of fluffy, whereas this is clearly a clean cut and it's gone through several layers. Fortunately, I've gone through all the stuff that was in my bag and nothing's been taken. Another sort of bit of evidence is that on the power bar, they've managed to cut through the edge of that. Now, it is possible that I caught it on something jaggy, but I think it's unlikely. And I thought I was pretty secure in my bag. On the public bus from the hostel to Kitambe bus station, I had my bag in front of me, so I could see what people were doing around me the entire time. In Kitambe bus station, we had all the bags in front of us. They were never left unattended, and let's be frank, if someone was trying to steal stuff from there, they'd have just unzipped it. And so it must have happened on the coach, where I had the bag between my feet. And so what must have happened was they must have, if it was cut, it must have been cut from under the seat. So that's pretty crazy, actually. So in future, I'll be having my bag on my lap, giving it a nice little hug. So it just goes to show, even when you think you're being secure, you need to be super, super vigilant. And we're just lucky nothing got taken. So here we are at the thermal spa at Papallacta, and it's really nice here. There's at least 9, if not more than 9 pools, and it costs $9 to get in, 50 cents for a locker. The water is really nice, and we're surrounded by mountains, which we can't really see just now because of the mist. But they're there.
And then the water is heated from a couple of local volcanoes, which is why it's so nice and warm and steamy.
Yeah, there's one over there, a big one over there, and there's quite a few other little ones dotted around as well. So, bath time. So, guess what? We're still at the thermal spa. So that means we've been in the water for pretty much 10 hours. I don't know. We were going to go for a trek up the valley to see a waterfall about 2 o'clock, and then we thought, nah, let's stay in the water. So
nice.
It's too good. So, now it's dark. We're going to go get some dinner now, I think. 10 hours is